They told you the mind is fragile. They lied. The truth is, your mind is a weapon. Sharpened, it can carve through chaos. Left dull, it turns on you. An untrained mind is a battlefield where you lose every war before it begins. You don't break because life is hard. You break because your thoughts aren't under your command. Your fear, self-created. Your anxiety, a signal of undisciplined focus. Your pain, real, but extended by your own interpretation of it. Niccolò Machiavelli knew this. Power doesn't start with control over others. It begins with control over yourself. The prince who cannot govern his own mind is not fit to govern anything. So ask yourself, who really runs your life? You or the thoughts you refuse to master? An unbreakable mind is built, not born. It's forged in silence, in discomfort, in deliberate rejection of weakness. You must stop reacting to everything. Train yourself to observe without judgment, without panic. Reaction is slavery. Observation is power. You want to be dangerous? Control your inner world. That's the real game. Not loud speeches, not emotional outbursts, but quiet domination of thought. When someone insults you, your reaction must be silence, not because you're passive, but because you've already won. They acted from emotion. You remained in control. That's the advantage of the unbreakable. They don't seek validation. They don't argue with noise. They move like ghosts through the fire, untouched, unbothered, aware. Let me tell you a truth most people will never hear. Mastering your mind makes you unstoppable because it removes the leash. When you no longer need approval, when you no longer react to disrespect, when you no longer fear failure, you are no longer easy to manipulate. You don't win by fighting battles you don't control. You win by becoming the kind of person who doesn't flinch, because your inner fortress cannot be breached. This isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about becoming so mentally precise that people can't disturb your peace because they no longer have access to it. Forget chasing happiness. Chase clarity. Chase strength. Chase the ability to sit in a storm and remain still. Because when you master your mind, the world loses its grip on you, and that's when your life becomes yours. The next lesson is not just a video, it's a weapon. Break the voice that doubts you. There's a voice in your head. It's not yours, not fully. It's a parasite, grown from every insult, every rejection, every failure they threw at you. It learned your weaknesses, it studied your fears, and now? It whispers doubt when you try to rise. You hear it when you hesitate, when you shrink back from risk, when you overthink, over-apologize, over-explain. That voice isn't protecting you, it's caging you. And here's what they don't tell you. The strongest chains are internal, not physical, not social, psychological, invisible, self-reinforced. Niccolò Machiavelli would have told you plainly, if your enemies can implant fear in your mind, they never have to touch you. You'll ruin yourself before they even strike. So you want power? Here's where it starts. Silence the voice that tells you you're not ready. Burn it. Replace it. Rebuild it. You don't reason with it. You don't heal it. You overpower it with ruthless clarity. Every time that voice says, you can't, you say, watch me. Not out loud, but in the silence where real change happens. Every time it tells you to wait, you move. Every time it says, stay safe, you do the opposite. That's how warriors are made. Not through comfort, through rebellion against the soft voice of surrender. Understand this, that internal enemy only survives because you feed it. You feed it through excuses, through self-pity, through delay, through the belief that you're not supposed to feel pressure. But pressure is the proof that you're near growth. If you feel nothing, you're not growing, you're rotting. The unbreakable mind does not ask for mercy, it demands results. It does not ask if it's good enough, it decides that it is. Because it's not waiting for the world to validate it. Most people spend their whole lives seeking permission. To lead, to speak, to change. And that voice in their head, it becomes their master. But not you. You're here to build mental sovereignty. And that means knowing one thing above all. That voice is not you. It never was. You are the one watching it. And the watcher always has more power than the noise. So, kill it. Kill it with movement. Kill it with silence. Kill it with results. And when you do, you'll realize that what you thought was fear was just a memory, a shadow, a fiction. No one is coming to save you. Let this truth hit you hard. No one is coming. Not your parents, not your friends, not society, not a mentor, no perfect opportunity, no lucky break. And that's not a tragedy. That's your liberation, because once you stop waiting, you start moving. You stop begging for rescue, and you start becoming the force that never needed saving in the first place. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something most people today are too soft to accept. Strength is not given, it's taken, claimed, forged in solitude. He didn't write about waiting. He wrote about ruling even when the odds were brutal. And here's the truth. Every second you wait for someone to notice your potential, you delay the birth of who you could be. The moment you realize the cavalry isn't coming, you stop looking outward, and you start building inward. You sharpen your vision, you double your discipline, you take control of your day like a ruler taking back his land. People think that needing no one means isolation, but it doesn't. It means you don't depend on anyone to define your worth, your direction, your fire. That's the positive message they never gave you. You are enough to build from scratch. You are capable of carrying yourself, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Your mind, your path, your responsibility. And when you accept full responsibility for your evolution, you become unstoppable. You don't need a cheerleader. You don't need a pat on the back. You don't need applause for your effort. You know who claps? Children, spectators, weak men who need noise to feel like they matter. You act in silence. You build when no one's watching, because you're not performing, you're preparing. The unbreakable mind is not forged in attention. It's born in moments where no one cares, and you still keep going, because you know this is your war, and you're your own soldier. No more looking at others like they're the answer. You are the answer. No more asking, who's going to help me? Ask, what would happen if I stopped waiting? What happens? You rise. If this lit a fire in you, tell yourself, I'm done waiting. I move now. Your attention is your empire. Your mind is not a playground. It's a throne. And the most powerful currency you have in this life is attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Look around. Everyone is being robbed. Not of money, not of time, but of focus. Their attention is scattered, stolen by endless noise, scrolls, notifications, ads, gossip, triggers, all designed to keep them weak, distracted, emotionally reactive. Niccolò Machiavelli never had social media, but he understood this truth. A distracted people are an easily ruled people. Now apply that to yourself. If others can hijack your attention, they can hijack your thoughts, your emotions, your identity, and eventually your future. So here's the brutal truth. If you don't guard your attention like a fortress, someone else will conquer it. The unbreakable mind is built by extreme awareness of what you allow in. Every piece of information you consume is either building your strength or feeding your weakness. You think that 5-second dopamine hit is harmless? It isn't. It trains your brain to chase stimulation instead of results. You think background noise is relaxing. It's not. It's soft warfare against your ability to think deeply, act clearly, and lead powerfully. Attention is not just mental energy, it's life force. You only have so much. Waste it on trash, and you become trash. Focus it like a laser, and you become lethal. So here's your new standard. You don't just let content enter your brain. You vet it. You choose it like a king chooses counsel. You read what sharpens you. You watch what elevates you. You cut off anything that weakens your resolve, no matter how popular, entertaining, or addictive it seems. Because you understand, the man who controls his attention controls his world. And from now on, you don't just wake up and see what happened. You direct your focus the way a general directs troops. With purpose, with force, with precision, you become intentional. Ruthless with distractions, obsessed with clarity. Not because you want to be a monk, but because you want to win. The average mind is a shattered mirror, reflecting everything it sees without understanding any of it. Your mind must be a blade, sharp, precise, and pointed only where you command it. And this is not about isolation, it's about control. You still live, you still engage, but your attention is no longer open to invasion. It is yours, your empire. Protect your focus like a king protects his kingdom. Emotion is a tool, not a master. Your emotions were never meant to lead you, they were meant to serve you. But most people, they get pulled by them, tossed around by anger, paralyzed by fear, controlled by doubt, and worst of all, they call it being authentic. Let me make something clear. Raw emotion is not strength. Controlled emotion is. A mind ruled by emotion is a kingdom in flames, but a mind that uses emotion with precision, that's a fortress no one can breach. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by two principal impulses, love and fear. He didn't say to eliminate them, he said to understand them, to use them, because emotion is powerful. But power must be directed, not unleashed blindly. You are not here to suppress your feelings, you are here to master them. Anger, use it for drive, not destruction. Fear, use it for awareness, not paralysis. Sadness, use it for reflection, not self-pity. That's the message no one told you growing up. They said, don't feel too much, or worse, follow your heart. But your heart, without your mind, is a weapon aimed at yourself. So no, we don't numb out. We don't pretend to be cold robots, but we train our emotions like war dogs, fierce, alert, but never biting without command. Because the unbreakable mind doesn't deny emotion, it controls the release. It uses every drop of feeling to power forward, not spiral backward. The man who can feel deeply and still choose his response, that man is dangerous. Not because he's fake, but because he's trained. And this is your training. Every time you pause instead of reacting, every time you breathe instead of break down, every time you wait, assess, and respond with clarity, you are sharpening your control. You are building emotional armor no one can crack. And this is not just about power, it's about peace. Because the most peaceful men are not the ones with no emotion, but the ones who don't let emotion own them. They move through life calm, centered, balanced. Because they're not driven by impulse, they're guided by purpose. So take this truth. Your emotions are tools. Use them to build, not destroy. That is real strength. If you're done being controlled, comment, "My emotions obey me now." Rejection is data, not destruction. Rejection doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've just received information. Painful, yes, but information nonetheless. Most people crumble at rejection because they take it personally, emotionally, as if it defines them. But the unbreakable mind doesn't internalize rejection, it studies it. It turns it into a blueprint. Niccolò Machiavelli would tell you, when you lose a battle, you don't collapse. You adapt, you observe, you reposition, and then you strike again, sharper, smarter, colder. Rejection is not the enemy, overreaction is. Let me reframe it for you. Rejection is intelligence. You get rejected by a person, that's data. They can't see your value, or you were playing the wrong game. You get rejected from an opportunity, that's feedback. Your approach, timing, or execution needs refinement. It's not a sentence, it's a signal. So stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That's how power thinks. That's how leaders rise. Because every no is a redirection. Every closed door is a chance to build your own. And every time you bounce back, you're not just surviving, you're evolving. Here's where most people lose. They turn rejection into identity. One failure, and they start saying, "I'm not good enough." One betrayal, and they start saying, "I'm not lovable." One loss, and they say, "I'm cursed." You don't get to say that anymore. You don't label yourself based on who walked away or what didn't work. You're a strategist now. You feel it, you accept it, but then you dissect it. You write it down, you extract the lesson, and you move forward twice as sharp. That's what makes you lethal. Not your charm, not your talent, your ability to turn pain into precision. You want real power? Learn to be unbothered by rejection, to expect it, to embrace it, because while others fall apart when things don't go their way, you grow into the man who doesn't break. He recalculates. That kind of mind? It becomes unstoppable. Because it doesn't cry about losses. It profits from them. If you're done being destroyed by rejection, you should know every rejection makes you stronger. Starve distraction, feed discipline. Distraction is not an accident. It's a system, a trap, a war strategy. And if you're not aware of it, you'll waste your life chasing flashes, thinking you're living, while you're actually decaying. Here's the hard truth. Every time you give in to a useless impulse, to scroll, to gossip, to escape your routine, you feed weakness. Every moment you delay the thing you said mattered, you empower your enemy. Distraction is the diet of the powerless. Discipline is the fuel of kings. Niccolò Machiavelli didn't write about discipline in soft terms. He understood it as strategy. The prince who indulges in every comfort becomes soft. The ruler who keeps himself sharp, even in peace, becomes untouchable. And that's your job now, to starve the things that steal your fire and feed only what fortifies you. This is the uncomfortable truth most people will avoid until their final breath. Success is boring. Repetition wins. Discipline is not about motivation, it's about self-respect. You want to be feared, respected, remembered? Then do the things you don't feel like doing every damn day, with no one clapping, no one watching, no applause, no comfort, just you and your higher standard. That's power. You don't need a perfect routine, you need a non-negotiable mindset. Wake up, move, train, build, focus, not because you feel like it, but because your goals demand it. You don't negotiate with distractions, you kill them one by one. The show you binge, kill it. The person draining your energy, cut them out. The useless conversations, the mindless browsing, the mental junk food, starve it all, because every yes to distraction is a no to greatness. And this isn't about being robotic, it's about being in control, about choosing what matters over what's easy, every single time. The unbreakable mind doesn't wait for the right mood, it creates it. It shows up, especially when it's inconvenient. That's where your edge is forged. You're not like the masses anymore. You don't move when it's convenient. You move when it's necessary, and it's always necessary. Discipline is the quiet force that builds you while no one sees. And when the world finally notices, it's too late. You've already won if you're choosing strength over comfort. Tell yourself, I feed my future, not my distractions. Train your mind for war, even in peace. The most dangerous mistake you can make is thinking peace will last. Peace is temporary. Comfort is a setup. Ease is a test, because life isn't fair. Life is ruthless, and it doesn't warn you before it breaks you. That's why the unbreakable mind doesn't wait for war to become strong. It trains before the storm ever arrives. Niccolò Machiavelli once said, "A wise man ought never to be idle in times of peace." Why? Because peace softens the unprepared, but it sharpens the disciplined. Look around you. People waste their calm seasons chasing comfort, partying, escaping, numbing themselves. They let their minds rust because things seem fine. But warriors? Warriors sharpen the blade when no one's watching. That's your call now. You don't wait for betrayal to learn emotional control. You don't wait for loss to build resilience. You don't wait for stress to learn how to breathe under pressure. You train now, while you're calm, so when the chaos comes, you're already built for it. Understand this, pressure doesn't create cracks, it reveals them, and if your mind is fragile under peace, it will shatter under adversity. So what do? You practice stillness in noise. You learn silence in disagreement. You master clarity in uncertainty. You simulate difficulty. You take cold showers. You train in discomfort. You strip away soft habits and build hard focus. Not for fun, but for future battles you don't even see yet. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. Because when the economy collapses, when the person you trusted turns on you, when your plans fall apart, most people break. You switch modes. Because you've already been here mentally. You've rehearsed pain. You've studied disappointment. And you've trained your mind not to run, not to beg, not to panic, but to move. People will call you cold. But you're not cold. You're conditioned. You're not unfeeling, you're unfazed. You're not paranoid, you're prepared. And this is the mindset that separates the kings from the conquered. You don't just hope for the best, you train for the worst, because when the worst never comes, you dominate in silence. And if it does, you were already ready. So make this your standard. Every day you wake up in peace, use it as fuel. Use it to sharpen the mind that never gets caught off guard. Because when war comes, and it will, you won't flinch. You'll execute. If you're training your mind before the storm, whisper to yourself, I build in peace. I dominate in chaos. Become the master of inner weather. The world will never stop testing you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Chaos will strike without warning. But the difference between the broken and the powerful is one thing: inner weather. Most people are ruled by their environment. If it's sunny, they're happy. If it's storming, they collapse. If people approve, they feel strong. If people pull away, they fall apart. That's not power. That's slavery to circumstance. Niccolò Machiavelli knew the man who rules himself can't be ruled by others. And in a world full of emotional turbulence, the calm man becomes the most feared. Your real power is not what happens to you, but how little it moves you. When people try to provoke you, they expect a reaction. You give them nothing. When chaos surrounds you, others flinch. You remain still. When betrayal burns everything around you, you don't scream. You rebuild. Quiet, focused, cold, unbothered. That's inner weather. It means no one gets to change your internal state without your permission. It means whether the world is praising you or trying to destroy you, your fire stays the same. No one sees you unravel. No one sees you beg. No one sees you over-explain. Because you've made a decision. Your peace is not for sale. You want to become truly untouchable? Then train this: the ability to feel everything, but be moved by nothing. You're not emotionless, you're just in control. You don't suppress, you direct. And when you do this consistently, something incredible happens. Your presence becomes heavy. People feel your stillness and start to adjust themselves. Your silence becomes louder than noise. Your calm begins to intimidate. Your detachment becomes dominance. Because in a world full of men who can be baited, triggered, distracted, and manipulated, you become rare. You become steady, grounded, unshakable. And once you master this, no rejection, no failure, no betrayal can destroy you. You've already ruled the one thing no one else can access: your inner world. This is what you've been building across every chapter of this monologue. Not just discipline, not just focus, not just strategy, but emotional sovereignty. And with that, you no longer live life on your knees. You walk through fire with your head up. If you've claimed this mental power, comment, I am the storm. My mind is my kingdom. Like the video, subscribe to Psysourcing, and turn on notifications, because now you don't just understand power, you are power, and the world is about to feel it.